Welcome, brave soul, I am the forgotten storyteller. Before we begin, tap that like button if you dare, and drop a comment below telling me where in the world you're listening from. And if you make it to the end of this video, I hope to see you in the next story. I hope you're ready, because I am. Let's begin. Our story today begins at the edge of the tarmac, where fog moves like silk, and the windows reflect more than just light. There's a quiet hum that lives in airports after midnight, a hum you don't hear during the day. The fluorescent lights buzz a little softer, like they're whispering to one another. Luggage wheels echo far away, footsteps feel suspended, and the air, always a little too cold, carries the scent of metal and tired coffee. Gate B12 is tucked at the far end of the terminal, where no music plays and the floor tiles still bear the imprint of an older era. It's often unused, set aside for overflow or delayed flights. But sometimes, on foggy nights, when the outside is blanketed in a pearly gray hush, something strange begins to happen. The glass at Gate B12 is vast, spanning floor to ceiling, meant to frame the runway. But workers who sweep the hall or rest between shifts whisper softly that if you glance at the glass, not directly, just out of the corner of your eye, you may see her. A small figure. A girl. No taller than your elbow. Her hair is long and dark and in braids. Not standing outside, but reflected inside behind you. Though the chairs are empty and the hall is still, they say she never moves. She only looks out, eyes fixed on the runway as if she's waiting. And no matter where you walk, she stays in the reflection. Always still, always watching. No one has ever turned around fast enough to catch her there. But late-night crews have learned not to speak about her too loudly, because sometimes when she's mentioned, she appears. And in 1997, after a long-haul flight touched down at 3:11 a.m., the pilot reported something unusual. An official memo, archived but rarely seen, said he glimpsed a child standing near the tarmac just before docking. No one else saw her. There was no family. No child was missing. Just mist and the echo of footsteps. And Gate B12 looking out, always waiting. The janitor on the night shift, Mr. Elroy, once told the new guy in a hush barely above breath, "Don't clean near that window after 2 a.m. When pressed, he wouldn't say why. He only rubbed the sleeve of his uniform and stared out, unfocused. But a few weeks later, the new guy, Darren, decided not to listen. After all, it was just glass. Just fog. Just his reflection. He said it first felt colder there. The handle of his mop froze in his hands. Then, as he swiped the floor, the reflection didn't move quite right. It was delayed by a second. Just a second. But enough to notice. And in the far left pane, where the corner light flickers overhead, a little smudge appeared. He leaned closer. Thought maybe it was grime. But no. It was on the inside of the reflection. A handprint. It was small. Too small to be his. And it didn't smear when he wiped it. It stayed in place still. Pressed like someone, or something, was looking out at him. That night, Darren signed out early. And never came back. Now no one cleans near Gate B12 past 2 a.m. Not anymore. They say the girl appears only in reflections. Never in person. Never in photos. Just glass. Sometimes, pilots in the cockpit spot her for a split second. A blur near the windows as the plane taxis. They blink and she's gone. Sometimes, gate agents turn to check their monitors and see a small shape beside them in the black of the blank screen. But she never speaks, never moves, never blinks, like she's waiting. The fog outside, it's always thickest near that gate, almost as if it clings to the glass, hugging it like breath. There's a theory, a quiet one, not spoken much aloud, that she's a reflection of something left behind. A girl who wandered through the terminal once, long ago, and never got on her plane. Some think she's searching for her mother. Others say she doesn't even know she's gone. And sometimes, very late. When the air is still and you're the only one walking past B12, if you stop, if you breathe just right and lean ever so slightly, you might see her. Watching. From the inside, just don't wave. They say if you wave, she remembers you. There's a man named Calvin who works security on the overnight shift. He's been there for years, seen every kind of weather, every kind of delay, every kind of stranded traveler. But when asked about Gate B12, he just lowers his eyes. He says the cameras there don't record. Not for lack of trying. The footage skips, loops, freezes at 3:03 a.m. each night. That exact minute. Every day. Every system resets. They try to install new equipment. Once a private contractor came in with fresh wiring, a new angle. But when they tested the new feed, all they saw was fog. Thick, crawling fog pouring down the lens from the inside of the terminal. And within it, just a glimpse, Just for a moment, a pale little face. Watching. The camera shattered a few hours later. From the inside. Since then, no one's tried again. Pilots pass the story between each other, almost superstitiously. It's like an unofficial rite of passage. You fly the red eye, you taxi past B12, and if you're lucky you don't see her. But those who do, well, they're never quite the same. Not afraid exactly, just quiet changed. Like they left something behind in the mist. Or maybe, like something followed them out. No one knows who she is. There are no records, no names. But long ago, a worker found a boarding pass wedged between the window frame and the floor. It was old, creased and yellowed, but the date was recent. Too recent. And the name? It had been scratched out. Not torn out. Tiny little fingernail marks, over and over. But on the back, written in shaky pencil, were 5 words. I want to go home. They say that pass disappears sometimes. Reappears later in other places. Once in the pocket of a gate agent's coat. Once on the tray table of an empty plane. Always with those same 5 words. Always in the same shaky hand. Now, imagine the terminal is quiet again. The passengers are gone. The intercom's silent. Only the hum of lights above you, and the soft weight of fog pressing against the window. Outside, the runway disappears into gray. And in the reflection, they're just for a second. A pair of small dark eyes watching, just waiting. Some say the girl at gate B12 doesn't just appear at night. She appears when you forget. When you're sleep deprived. When your thoughts are fuzzy. When your body walks but your mind wanders. That's when she steps into the edge of your reflection. That's when she begins to remember you. It isn't malice. Not really, she isn't cruel. She's just lonely. And loneliness has gravity. A flight attendant once wrote in her journal, something found years later in a lost and found bin sealed by mistake, that she'd begun to see a child reflected in the metal edge of her service cart, only at night. Only after landing at gate B12. The child didn't move, didn't blink. But over the course of several flights, she appeared closer. On the last page of the journal, there was no writing. Just a faint, oily handprint which was child-sized. Pressed into the paper like someone leaned in from the other side. It's strange, isn't it, how glass holds things. Not just light, not just images, but echoes. Moments that stretch out forever. Moments like a girl standing at a terminal window, waiting for a plane that never arrived. Or maybe she did board, maybe her body flew, and her reflection remained. Forgotten in the flickering lights. Trapped in a pain of silence and rain. Some say the fog is her breath. Some say the hum of the terminal carries her name, if you listen closely enough. But most choose not to look at the glass too long. Because if you do, and if she sees you seeing her, she might smile. Or tilt her head. Or raise one small hand to the glass. And wait for you to raise yours in return. And if you do, well, you might have just invited her into your life. Let us know in the comments, would you look for the girl at gate B12?
Ready for spine-chilling tales that will haunt your thoughts. Subscribe to Forgotten Storyteller for eerie narrations, unsettling mysteries, and haunting stories you won't forget. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a story, because some stories refuse to stay buried. Join us, if you dare.